What's up, everybody? Even though no one's here yet, but yeah, I'm just chilling, playing NCAA 14 here. Yeah, just hanging out. Fire away with your questions. I'm just gonna be chilling, playing NCAA 14. I figured all of us could be hanging out. Yeah, should be a chill stream. Again, fire away with your questions if you have them. I know, sorry for the rudimentary setup I've got going here. I need to work on my streaming game, but I figured I've got two monitors like literally right next to each other. So I figured we could just play my game and we can hang out. So that'd be cool. Yeah, we'll just kind of chill and wait for people to I'm trying to fix this. This is a mess. What a disaster. All right. Let's see, the screen, is that too high? There we go. Cool. So yeah, these rosters aren't updated, so I'm not doing like a super in-depth Michigan team here. I'm just kind of just playing for fun. Just Michigan was the team that I picked, so that's cool. And we're starting the week off at Wisconsin. Week 1 at Wisconsin. I've got updated the Big Ten Conference. I added UCLA and USC on the thing, but yeah, this is kind of what we're at. Oh, we got I got 2 commitments. That's cool. Eric Holmes and David Harper, both linebackers, committed to my team, and then Ray committed to Georgia. So things don't change, aren't different from real life. But hey, James, yeah, you want revamped? I actually just figured out how to download it. I can't tell you how to download it because I'll get banned from YouTube and streaming and stuff, so I can't tell you how to do it. But if you have a PC that can run games, and obviously this is a old game, so it's not exactly it doesn't take that much power to run it, and I don't have my computer is not, it might have all the fancy lights and stuff, but it's not a really good computer, and it can run this no problem. But there's ways to do it. It's really easy. I got it set up in like an hour. I think the longest part was actually downloading the files. That was the hardest part. But yeah, there is a way to do it if you do some research online, but I can't tell you how to do it, at least on here, because I will get banned. Even though it's not illegal. So, it is what it is. But yeah, so yeah, it's really fun. You have a gaming laptop. Honestly, the gaming laptop might work. It might work. I guess it depends on what you're running in terms of like a graphics card and all that stuff. You might be able to get it to work for revamped. I will say you don't need the game to play revamped on a PC. Obviously this is a PC only game, but yeah, the gaming laptop might work. You should be able to do some internet sleuthing, and you should be able to find out what's up with that. But yeah, so this is just I'm just chilling. This isn't a podcast or anything like that. I'm not going to be turning this into the podcast feed. I'm just kind of just hanging out. We're not doing Trevor's busy, and recruiting news isn't that flowing that much yet. It will at the end of the month. We're in a dead period right now, so there's not much going on. So yeah, so we're just kind of hanging out. Fire away with your questions if you ever have any. I'll be happy to answer them. And Yeah, we all can just talk and hang out and just have fun, I guess, if you want to. And again, I apologize for the very awkward setup I have here as I'm streaming from my Mac, my face onto the screen, which again doesn't really look that bad, which is cool. It's cool. I thought it was going to look like crap, but it's not bad. I mean, obviously, this isn't the best way to stream, and I'll figure out a way to do that on this computer, but this will do for now. I'm not a professional streamer, and I don't plan on being. I would love to be a professional streamer, but I have more important things to do in my life than become a professional streamer. Yeah, maybe it could be a second job. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I'm just working on my recruiting board right now. I'm about to play the game here in a second. I just need to work on my recruiting board. John, yes, it is. It's NCAA 14, but it's a mod. It's a modded version of NCAA 14, and it's called NCAA Football 14 Revamped. So what this is, it has all of the updated from last season. So the 2022 season has all the updated conferences, rosters for the most part, uniforms. There's a couple other things in there too, like coaches, obviously. But I'm a year ahead. I already played a year in this franchise, so my roster is completely screwed up. And yeah, both Sharon Moore and Jesse Minter were hired away after this season. So I have two new random offensive and defensive coordinators. So it is kind of all over the place. But yeah, it's cool. I haven't played this game in years, and it's bringing back major nostalgia for me. So I'm excited. Hopefully next year the new NCAA game comes out. I would love to see that for sure. That would be awesome. I have a couple of questions here from Indigo. Outside of Aaron Scott, where do you see the CB board going forward? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think Michigan's in a position right now, if they miss on Aaron Scott, and I don't want to say for sure that he's gone, that he's going to Ohio State, but I mean, all signs point to it right now. I mean, I'd be pleasantly surprised if he picked Michigan, but as far as the CB board, I don't know. I don't know when that's going to be immediately expanded. I think, they've got a guy like Jameer Benjamin in your backyard where, he decommitted from Stanford to commit to Northwestern. And now he's in the process of, going through this Northwestern stuff. So that's an option. Of course, there's still Boo Carter that you can circle back on and try to push to commit. But I think what Michigan can do is they're in a position right now where they can kind of, take a sit back and kind of reevaluate the board and maybe allow someone to, come up during the season. I think, they've done a pretty good job of scouting, and a guy that immediately comes to mind is a Cam Calhoun that they not necessarily identified late, but they got in on late and offered. So I could see that kind of situation happening. I think if Aaron Scott commits, I think that's pretty much it for corner. I mean, if they'll push for Boo Carter, of course, but I think they'd be perfectly happy with just the one. I think, I think that's the short answer to my long-winded statement just now is that I think they'll kind of see how things develop during the season and see if anyone comes up on their board. So yeah. And the second part to your question, nose tackle targets. I was told by someone on the staff that they are happy with, what they have at nose tackle. And that includes the guys that they have on campus now and a guy like Owen Wafel and Manuel Beagle. They like him too. He's going to be a nose tackle prospect. He can play both ways, but I think he's coming to Michigan to try nose tackle first, and then go from there. But yeah, I think Justin Scott is still obviously going to be someone that they talk to still. I think, yeah, I mean, they'll still push. They'll still push. So I think he would be more of a luxury pick. I don't think, I mean, obviously you need 5-star guys to kind of transform your program. And I think, Scott would do that if they were to circle back on him. But yeah, right now they're happy with what they have. I could see a situation where they expand the board if they see someone they really like. But right now, Justin Scott was their only target there, and that would have been a luxury pick for them, and so they would have been fine. If Aaron does pick Ohio, this is from John. If Aaron does pick Ohio State, I'd keep recruiting him. Yeah, I mean, why not? It's you don't have to waste all your resources recruiting him, but yeah, I think, I mean, you can still try talking to him. Why not? It doesn't hurt anything. So I don't expect him to be a late flip, or even I wouldn't even consider him a potential flip target. But again, it's why not try it, see what happens. So, maybe you get lucky, maybe something happens to Ohio State. I mean, I doubt it, but maybe something happens. Who knows? The thing is with recruiting, and that, and it goes with anything in life. You don't want to burn bridges, and that goes, recruiting, and that also goes into the transfer portal too. Like if you burn a bridge in recruiting, you're going to be less likely to be pursued by that program if you're in the portal. So, yeah, I mean, keep it cordial, see what happens. You never know. You never know down the line. Things might come full circle. Ryan Pickett with a 1 in a million opportunity to play with your two best friends in college. He doesn't take it. What happened to Ship? It's just he wanted to stay home. I mean, there's scuttlebutt that UNC might try to hire his dad for a position on the staff. He's currently he's a JUCO coach, but again, that's scuttlebutt. That's nothing that's for sure happening. That's just kind of the talk, that might happen. But again, that's not that could be part of the reason why he picked UNC. But again, hometown school, won out in the end, and that's, it is what it is. It happens. I think he was always going to be the wild card in that group of a guy that, isn't just going to follow those, Jaden and Channing to Ann Arbor. He wasn't just going to follow them. He was always a bit of the wild card. So, yeah, that's pretty much the crux of that. It's just staying home. Nothing. Can't blame the kid for wanting to stay home. Which leads to the next question, part 2 of that, again, with Indigo here. Thoughts on wide receiver targets after Ship? Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously the big one right now is Gatlin Bear. That's still out there, but you're talking about a kid who's taking a 2-year mission trip, and he's technically a 2026 recruit. I mean, you'd sign him in 2024, but his scholarship won't be effective until he enrolls in 2026 after his mission trip. So that's kind of the big one left on the board right now. Outside of targets at wide receiver, we'll see. They may circle back to a guy like Mekhi White. Mekhi White was really high on Michigan earlier in the spring, and then they kind of stopped recruiting him because they had other guys on their board. Or they may just be happy with both Amarion Stewart and Shannon Goodwin. I mean, they did take, what did they take? 3 receivers in the previous class. So they got 2, and they might get Gatlin Bear. I still feel good that they'll get him. So you technically have another 3 in this class, but the 1 doesn't count. So they may just say, hey, we're good. But there's no one that, I mean, obviously Ryan Wingo's out too, but I see that as more of a long shot on him. So he's kind of a, he's in the picture, but I don't really see him factoring in much. But again, we're in, the thing is, we're in July, which is crazy because, Michigan is historically under Harbaugh has always been strong closers that really fill out their class during the season. But now they're in a position, and I think this is where recruiting as a whole is headed. Michigan's in a position where all these recruits are wanting to get these commitments done in June and July and focus on their senior season. So Michigan's in kind of in a position where, they have a good base in their recruiting class that they're working with, a really good base. And now they can kind of take their time in terms of analyzing recruits, spending resources elsewhere where they may have done something else, and even putting an effort into the 2025 class too. So I think Michigan's in a position now where they can kind of not necessarily take a step back, but kind of take a big, broad look at what the state of everything after the smoke is cleared, after everything is, slowed down a little bit. Now we're in a dead period with the season starting. They can kind of, look at film, look at guys that they may not have necessarily looked at earlier in the process and kind of, reevaluate things, because they have, again, I said they have a really good base. They have a really good, the idea is there. They just need to, now they're kind of in a position where they can kind of fill guys in the back end. And again, they're really strong closers. So there could be guys that 4-star guys that are committed elsewhere, or guys that we're not even thinking about right now that end up joining the class. So that's kind of why I'm not really in freak out mode about this, this class and recent misses, because we're in July and it's just, there's so much time left in December. Anything can happen. Coaches could get hired away, coaches could get fired, things just can happen. And, that's the crazy thing about recruiting, is that anything can happen. So I'm not sitting here in July freaking out going, oh man, this is bad. This is bad. We'll see. We'll wait and see. This July, let's just wait and see what happens. So, this kind of, in John's statement here kind of leads me to another thing too. And this kind of will go in with Aaron Scott too. I think if Michigan beats Ohio State again, and if they beat them, soundly, I think you start to see more recruits kind of take notice, and maybe even you could flip a guy like Aaron Scott and Justin Scott. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Like the winner of this game gets both guys, but especially if Michigan embarrasses Ohio State at home this year, there may be some staff moves that impact some recruits. Again, it's just kind of like it's a snowball effect that you need you need the start first. And again, we're so early right now in July that you don't have that momentum to build up yet. And I think this season will have a lot of opportunities to build this momentum. And again, that's why you're not going to see me freak out. You're not going to be, I'm not going to promote a narrative that, oh man, things are bad. All I will say is that you just got to be patient. That's you just got to be patient. Let the season play out. There's going to be opportunities where they can fill the back end of this class with some good guys, because it happens every year. And I don't see this year being any different. And you just don't know. You never know. So, again, we'll wait and see what happens. I know the losses, and I know the losses sting. I mean, you obviously want to get him in, but you have to hold on to these guys too. That's the thing. So if you have a guy that's kind of on the fence committing, chances are you may have to do some work keeping him. Whereas down the line in December, if you're getting these guys late, they're not going to flip late. So a lot of moving parts, but I mean, we'll see what happens. Yeah. And Ryan pretty much exactly what we were just talking about. Ryan nailed it here. You go in with the team you have and see what happens on the field, and recruits and commits will take notice. I mean, this is like 95% of why Michigan's recruiting at such a high level right now is because of the winning. I mean, if you're winning, people are going to take notice and they want to be part of that. So, and this team's going to be very, very good this year and probably a national championship contender team. And this is the window to do it. So, people want to be part of that. So we'll see what happens at the end of the year again. For people that just are coming in late, why did Jordan Ship not go to Michigan? A lot of it has to do with wanting to stay home, closer to home. That's really what it comes down to. Again, we'll see what happens. They're not signing LOIs in July. They're signing LOIs in December. So that's the big thing. Indigo, my man, thank you very much. Trevor McHugh is my guy, and we've done I'm really proud of the work we do at Rivals. I'm really proud of what we if I can say it, I'm really proud of what we represent. Really proud of what we've built in a year and a half. Again, it doesn't feel like a year and a half. I mean, this is a 365, 24/7 grind, but I wouldn't exchange this for the world. But yeah, I really appreciate those kind words. And with that, I just cracked open my beer. If I can put it on camera because I'm all in an awkward angle. Summer Shandy, I'll cheers to that. Excuse me. And I'm going to cheers to this too. Shadyville with the super chat. Thank you very much. That is completely unnecessary, but thank you so much for that. Generous, very generous. I appreciate all of you. Completely unnecessarily, but again, thank you. Michigan recruits at a good but not elite level. There's maybe 2 or 3 elite recruits per year. What can be done to get the number? Yeah, I'd agree with that. And sometimes good is, that's okay. But yeah, I think guys like Justin Scott. Excuse me. I actually need to. I've had this beer up to my mouth for like the last minute and have not sipped out of it. So let me just take a sip real quick. But Michigan is how I view it is that they have a seat at the table for these guys. They have a seat at a seat at the they have a seat at the college football playoff level. But again, you can't be satisfied with just having a seat. You need to be at the head of the table. And that's for recruits. That's for, Big Ten dominance. That's for national dominance. It's just getting there isn't good enough. You have to get past that hump. And I think a lot of that is especially you can relate that to the semifinal too. I mean, in order to change the program, you have to get over that hump. And they got over the Ohio State hump. And now look, it's a totally different program. The culture is great. The program is at an all-time high. And now they can take the next step by nailing down these recruits, the elite recruits, the 5-star guys. I know a lot of people say in terms of Michigan that stars don't matter. And I can agree to that argument in a certain extent, but you also need to supplement those guys that you develop with these studs, these immediate impact guys. And at the same time, though, you also want to get guys who fit the culture. You don't want to rock the boat with what you have. And I'm not saying that every 5-star guy is a piece of crap human. I'm just saying you need to find guys that fit the system and fit what you're trying to do, but also have the talent at the same time. So it's a delicate balance there, but I absolutely do agree with you that, to become elite, you got to start landing these 5-star guys. You can't just be satisfied with just being there. You got to get it done. And I think if Michigan is continuing on this trajectory, and I think they will, Michigan's doing a lot of good things with NIL. The football program's doing a lot of good things with NIL. Again, they're not going to drop bags for these guys. They're just not going to do it. But they're proving that if you come to Michigan, these opportunities are going to be there for you. And as far as NIL opportunities for their players, outside of paying these guys to play, I can't think of better opportunities anywhere other than Michigan right now. I mean, the opportunity these guys are getting with the brands they're working with, credit to, Valiant and all of these collectives that are setting things up for these guys. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job, and they should be celebrated. So, but yeah, I mean, there's always room for improvement in NIL too, and it's evolving. This thing is not, what it is right now probably isn't going to be the same thing a year from now. So, and John, again, Michigan's recruiting at their level this cycle. Yeah, I think they found, the water reached its level. I think last year, last year, I didn't even know how to explain last year in recruiting. That was such a misnomer. It was like a whole different thing. I don't even know what that was. I mean, the Harbaugh, the NFL Vikings stuff didn't help. Just a bunch of stuff kind of snowballed into what it was. But, I don't think Michigan's class was that bad. I think they're going to have a bunch of good playmakers. Jair Hill, I think, is going to be fantastic for Michigan. And he was a late ad. Cam Calhoun is going to be fantastic. I think they have some really good pieces in that group, as I think they have good pieces in 2024. So, I think, last year, just a blip in the radar. And I think you're starting to see Michigan kind of the water find its level. This will likely be a top 10 class. I think they kind of need to close on some elite guys to become a top 5, but that's Michigan's sweet spot, right in the top 10. But if you want to be, you want to get away from your sweet spot, you want to kind of take that next step, you got to start landing some of these elite guys and, take it to the next level. So, yeah. So back-to-back big champs, summer shandy, baby. Yes, sir. I love this stuff. This is my favorite time of the year because I love summer shandy. By the way, if you're a Leinenkugels fan, you should try the peach IPA, which is fantastic. I'm not a big beer guy, but the peach, so good. It's worth it. You should try Stella Artois. I've never tried Stella. To be honest, I'll have to next time I'm out and about, I'll try it. I'll try it. John, again, a base salary is needed. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I mean, I think, a base, I don't know. I think it's a good idea, but again, do you have a uniform base salary across entire college football? Because if so, it would have to be relatively low because you're talking about the haves and the have-nots. And the have-nots don't have the kind of money that, would require a uniform base salary for all their guys. So it's hard because if you're talking about a uniform base salary, like $500, it's not gonna entice anyone. It's not gonna change the way Michigan recruits. So I think it's a good idea, kind of something uniform, but at the same time, a lot of these schools aren't going to be able to afford something uniform for all of these guys. So, yeah. So we'll see. Shadyville, yes, it is. I will eventually play it. I've just had so many good questions that I haven't even started to play it, and I didn't want to look in both ways. But yeah, I'll be playing this in a minute. I just want to say that these rosters aren't up to date. I'm a year ahead. So there's some guys that are gone and things like that. But I'll play. I'm not playing on some super hard difficulty either. I'm just kind of playing for fun. So I'll be playing this. I'll be playing this here shortly. But I just had some really good questions that I want to make sure these get answered. Thoughts on Justin Baker in Michigan for the 25 class? Yes, I think they're in a really, really good position. I think Michigan is the early leader here. I think they've done a really good job, selling the selling the academic side of things and, the overall fit, I think is really good. Him and Mike Hart have a really good relationship. So we'll see. I mean, it's not going to be an easy pull. Those Buford guys are pursued, and, Mantrez Walker too is getting pursued. He's saying a lot of good things too, but he's got a lot of good, um, interest elsewhere. So in Shadyville, he listens to Ohio State podcast. Yeah, no, they're having their fair share of NIL issues, and yeah, I agree. You can't put it all on NIL. I definitely agree with that. Again, winning is the magic medicine. You win, good things happen, and you're starting to see this with the recruiting class right now. You're winning, and good things are happening. So yeah, it's not all on NIL. I agree with that. You can't just fall back on that and say, oh well, NIL, blah blah blah. It's part of it, not 100% of it. So, yeah, so it's all part of it. Zinter here says, I don't think recruits put the same set revs. Yeah, I agree. I agree that, I don't think a recruit is saying, hey, I'm down to Ohio State and Michigan, and I'm going to go to the team that wins this year. I totally agree with that. I think it does have some impact in terms of narrative and, overall health of a program, because if you're talking about, Michigan winning 3 years in a row against Ohio State, that's a big deal. And the same thing as when Ohio State was beating Michigan regularly. Yeah, I think yeah, you're right. Fit, path to play, and NFL development are the biggest ones, and that's always going to be that way. But I do think there's a certain narrative that can be fit in there for people that are, for people that are on either side of the argument there. So, yeah. So I totally agree with that. I think you're spot on there. And John again could give each player. I think that's going to be the plan once this NIL ball gets rolling and people want to. And it's not going to be like, oh, you commit, you sign and enroll in Michigan, you're going to get $40,000. No, you have to sign up for these collectives. You have to be actively in the collectives to earn these opportunities. But yeah, the base salary thing I think is eventually going to happen. Yeah, I mean, again, and $40,000 is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's a good amount of money for a kid that young, but yeah, I think that's going to be the eventual trend for these programs that have funds out the what. I think they're going to get, once you sign up for these collectives, they're going to give you these, this kind of, I guess, base salary, if you want to call it. Let's see here. Indigo with another question here. Do you think M&BR can be a difference maker at Michigan for NIL? I do. I think M&BR is a really positive program, and Jim Harbaugh has been really high on this. He's been trumpeting this for the longest time, and he's super excited to see this get off the ground. But I think it's important because it offers a perspective. It's not an NIL. I want to be clear though. M&BR is not a collective. It's not a, hey, if you do this, you're going to get money from the football program. It's, hey, if you do this, you're going to learn about NIL opportunities. You're going to learn how to deal with taxes and financial literacy, which I think is huge when you're talking about NIL. I think that's the most important part, is these kids need to learn about financial literacy. Getting the money is fine, but you're going to have to learn, A, to invest it. B, you're going to pay taxes on that. This isn't just free money you're getting handed. You pay taxes on this, and you got to understand how all that system works. And I think M&BR is really interesting in that way, is that it'll support you and it will give you avenues to make money, but also learn how to deal with this money that you're getting, these opportunities, whether it'll help you after football's done too. You'll be able to get internship opportunities, which equates to connections and then potential jobs down the line. So I think M-Power is really important, and I'm glad they're doing that, because they're not just letting these kids get this money and say, well, you're on your own, you got to deal with it. No, you got to have to learn, financial literacy and how you work with this money and how you pay your taxes and all that stuff. So I think it's very important, and I do think it can be a difference maker. Absolutely. Who's the main person of getting the donors on the same page? A lot of donor stuff is for it's Ward Manuel's work. Part of that is getting the donors on the same page. Santa Ono is part of that too. But primarily when you're talking about a donor perspective, that's a lot of stuff that Ward Manuel has been working with. But it's an interesting thing, because you're also having a tug of war there. You're also wanting to get donation dollars to the athletic program, so you can do, the Michigan football stadium scoreboard renovations, the new LED lights, and then you're also trying to get funds for collectives. It's an interesting tug of war, because these dollars aren't the same. You have to, there's a dollar amount for, the athletic department, and there's also one for collectives. So you've got the athletic department and collectives kind of not necessarily fighting over the same dollars, but trying to get, donations for the same avenues, kind of. So it's an interesting dynamic. I mean, all schools have to deal with it. This is not just a Michigan thing. I mean, this is all schools are trying to deal with it. And, you see Ohio State having issues, with NIL too. It's tough getting everyone on the same page. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think, again, we're in the infancy of NIL, and kind of the way NIL happened, it was just kind of everyone got like thrown out there and said, hey, have fun with this, do what you can, do what you got to do, and not necessarily any guidance. And that's the NCAA for you, guidance, none, so everyone's kind of trying to figure out what to do and how to do it without guidance. And I think, I think Michigan will figure it out. Again, it's still in its infancy. We'll see how that kind of changes everything with recruiting and stuff. So yeah. Shadyville again. Shouldn't the athletic department be okay with less donations? Yes, but at the same time, how money hungry these schools are. They want every single dollar that they want. I mean, because the football revenue is fine, and then the collective revenue is fine, but where is this collective revenue going to? Is it just going to football? Is it just going to basketball? Is it going to women's basketball? There's a lot of moving parts to this too. Sorry, I just knocked the mic. There's a lot of moving parts to this too, but again, the athletic department wants as much money as it can, and so I mean, well, I agree. I mean, yeah, I mean the TV money that's being thrown in is ridiculous, but at the same time, Michigan or any athletic department wants as many dollars as they can, and tax write-off donations are it's the easiest way to do it. Any word on Bennett Warren? Yeah, this is interesting. We'll see. I haven't heard definitively one way or the other that Michigan is out of this. I think it's down to Michigan and Tennessee. I think Michigan kind of faded away a little bit when they were pursuing Mike Ewing. But now that they're kind of circling back, I think Michigan is back in it. It would not shock me if he went to Tennessee, but I do think, there's legitimate love for Michigan there. And, my future cast has been on Michigan since the spring game, and I don't really plan on changing it right now until I hear something definitive. I don't know. I was kind of expecting a commitment date to be announced sometime in July, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And if it does, we'll see, and I'll find out what direction this is headed. But yeah, right now I like where Michigan sits, but I think a lot of it kind of went silent because of Mike Ewing, with his emergence, and yeah, so. Yeah, big back-to-back big champs here, says heard it's between Michigan, Texas. Yep. Yeah, I would probably say out of those three, Texas A&M is distant third. It's definitely a Michigan Tennessee battle. Michigan needs to do a better job at closing. I don't necessarily agree with that, to be honest with you. I think in early July, maybe, they've had some issues closing, but I think they've been historically pretty strong closers in December. Again, we'll see how everything looks. It's July. I'm not really too worried about it right now. If this was me in September or October, then I'd be like, oh yeah, maybe maybe they should, be worried a little bit. But again, we're in July. I'm not worried about it. There's so much time. Excuse me. There's so much time until December. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Shadyville. Someone asked me this earlier, and I guess my response is I guess we'll see. There's really no one that sticks out right now, and maybe they're kind of waiting until the season to kind of reevaluate some guys, look at tape and things like that. I don't know if a guy like Jameer Benjamin, who's an in-state guy, is like one of those guys. I do know the staff talks to him. They talk to him quite a bit, but I don't know if he's going to be the guy if they miss on Scott. So I think we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. After Scott's, the good thing is we'll know here pretty soon, so that's good. But yeah, from there we'll figure it out. Shadyville again, yeah. It's July and we have 26 commits already. Yeah. Again, yeah, that's why I'm not worried about it. 26 commits in July. Michigan had like 5 this time last year. I mean, I'm being facetious, but it's a totally different ball game. Yeah, I mean, and I know you brought up in back-to-back big chance here is bringing up some more examples. Yeah, but I mean, you can go back and list all the other targets they've missed on last year too. I understand the argument, and I do, I get it. I get it. But again, July, 26 commits. Now Michigan can be super picky into who they get. And as John mentioned here, Chris Ewald is locked in with Michigan right now in the 2025 class. So they've got depth at corner. They don't necessarily need to add a guy in 24 if they need. I mean, it'd be nice to add a guy, but they don't necessarily need to. So I guess where I think Michigan can be super picky about what they do at corner. So yeah, no, and I know you're not saying that this is bad, and I agree. This is, from a 4-star standpoint, I believe this is the most 4 stars Michigan has ever. I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm not saying that you think that they're doing terrible, but yeah, I mean, there's issues closing in July, but we'll see come December. Again, I'm not worried about it. I really am not worried about it. We'll see what happens. And you know what I realized? I think someone asked me about Zaquan Patterson, and I totally dodged the question because I had Shadyville's generous donation pop up. Where is that question? Where is it? Here we go. Feelings on Zaquan Patterson from Indigo. I believe it's down to Michigan and Miami. Miami probably has the leg up right now because they're the hometown school. But I'm not discrediting Michigan's shot here. I think they have a great shot. They did a really good job with the parents. They're coming back, I believe, for the barbecue at the end of the month. There's a chance. If they get him on campus, again, this is what it's all about. You got to get these kids on campus. So if they get him on campus again, and I believe there was discussion about him coming back for a game as well. So the more you get him, it's the better your chances are. But yeah, I do feel really good about Michigan's chances with Patterson. I think they're probably right there with Miami. I mean, I'd probably give Miami the early edge, but Michigan is pushing hard and they're doing a really good job with him there. So he would be a really solid land at safety. So to go along with Jacob Oden, who's probably trending to be a safety as well at the next level. So, but at the same time too, we talk about corners. The thing about Steve Klinkscale is that, in his system, you have to learn every single position, whether it's safety, both safeties, he calls them left and right safeties, a slot corner, a boundary corner, a nickel, all those. You have to learn all of those. So, and you know how Michigan likes to shuffle guys around to find best fits. So maybe Oden is your corner, and they land a guy like Patterson. So, I think there's a lot of moving parts there still too. So, yeah, I definitely, Klink is that dude. Yeah, he's been a real asset to Michigan. I mean, Michigan's really fortunate to have him. He's done a really good job. He's done a really good job. So, all right, I think now it's time for. I didn't mean to click on this, but what's up, Mello? I'll allow it. He's an Ohio State fan, but he's cool. He's one of the cool ones. He can stay. He can stay. I didn't mean to click on that comment. So, enjoy your free advertisement. All right, let's play some NCAA, shall we? I've been sitting on the recruiting board screen long enough. So, yeah, I tried to get the schedules. I mean, this is, again, I'm a year forward, so nothing is accurate. I'm going to try and get the schedule. I tried to get the schedule match up, but it's just not going to work. Because, I've got Wisconsin on week 1, so, it is what it is. So the cool thing about the NCAA revamped is that, I don't know if you can really tell, but they have the Jordans. They have the Jordan outfit because obviously Michigan was a Nike or a Adidas school when this came out. And so they've done a really good job of updating the helmet, adding all of the alternates too, the maze alternates, all of these different alternates that they have. I think it's really cool. So they did a really good job with getting all of this. So they did a really good job. So we can do. Oh, that's cool. They got the blue playoff one. Huh. Oh, that's sweet because they've got the silver Jordan there. All right, guys. What color jerseys do you want? What color? We can do the pants. What color jersey and pant combination do you want? We'll go with chat. We'll go with chat's request here. Maybe not. Maybe not. What color jersey and pants? If not, I'll just pick my own. All right, I'll just pick my own. I kind of like this maize and blue combo. I would love to see them use this. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, you can change the color of the gloves too, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna use white gloves. Let's go white gloves. Jordan white gloves. You want white and blue, John? Okay, we'll do that. They're away anyway, so yeah. All right, we'll do that. White and blue with the white. Let's see what color gloves. No, I don't want nylon. Let's do white gloves. White gloves. All right, cool. In Wisconsin. Yeah, that looks good. Good enough. You want blue gloves, John? All right, we'll do that. We'll do blue gloves. There we go. All right, there it is. I know it's kind of hard to see, but there we go. Okay. I'll try to turn it up a little bit. All right. If anyone has any other questions, fire away. I'm not gonna ignore you. I'll do both for sure. Again, I apologize for the crude way I'm streaming stuff, but it's just gonna have to do. I didn't plan on doing this, and I just kind of did it this last second. So, yeah. So I won the Heisman with Blake Corum last year, as it should have been before his injury against Illinois. So, yeah, that's the storyline of last year. I kind of was just messing around with this game, so it's nothing really I'm taking any serious. I can't change the division. I can't do anything of that. So I put Ohio State in the West with UCLA, and I put USC in the East. It's just I was just doing this for giggles. And again, the rosters aren't updated. They are updated from last year, so there's not going to be AJ Barner or Ernest Hausman on. They're going to be on Indiana and Nebraska, respectively. So, excuse me, we'll just make do with what we have. We'll just have some fun. John, don't lose with Wolverines. I'll try my best not to lose. I'll try my best. How much is a console these days? That's a good question. I don't know how much. Like, are you talking about account 22? Are you talking about like current modern ones, or are you talking about your like an Xbox 360? Because like a modern console they have usually two versions these days. I'm gonna return here. You have a couple of versions. They have a digital one where there's no disc tray, and there's another one with a disc tray. And I think they're $399 and $399 for the digital version, and for a PS4 or PS5, and a $499 for a one with a disc. So I have a PS5. This is just on computer, so this isn't on anything on any consoles. But I do have an Xbox controller that works with this. So yeah, but the Xbox 360 would be relatively cheap, but getting this game like on disc on a Xbox 360 is expensive. I mean, you at this point you're paying more for the game than you would be the console at this point. That's how coveted these games are. It's ridiculous. So yeah, all right, let's play. Oh, I got Donovan Edwards as my kick returner. I didn't even screw with the depth chart. So, yeah, obviously Blake Corum is back is for his senior season. So yeah, JJ's at quarterback. Clemens, Wilson, Loveland at tight end. So pretty much everything is almost oh Jesus. Yeah, that's kind of my big complaint about current modern consoles is that, yeah, the space. I mean, the games these days. I mean, most big games are like over 100 gigs, and you can't put every single game you own on consoles. So you have to buy like a $300 attachment just to put more games on there. So that's kind of a bummer. You always have to monitor it. You always have to delete games or kind of push games back, which is kind of annoying. So yeah, that's my big complaint with consoles these days. Oh Jesus! Yeah, last year 1,900 rushing yards with Blake Corum. So yeah, that's cool. Starting off with a nice 1-yard rush. Yeah, so I don't have guys like Samaj Morgan either. Yeah, this is a Morion Walker on as wide receiver. So yeah, it's very it's kind of updated, but not really. So we're just gonna make do with what we have. It's just for fun anyway. Look at me, and I'm doing more than 50-50 throwing the ball too. How about that? Take that, Jim. That was ridiculous. Now I'm going to run the ball. I'm trying to get not cut my head off while I'm doing this, but also getting as much of the screen as I can. That was when I played Wisconsin last year. I got 167 yards rushing. So I was like, yeah, he did not have 167 yards last year and win the Heisman. So if anyone has questions for me, fire away. I'm multitasking here, and I'll be happy to. I'm happy to answer anything that you might have. It's a real methodical drive I'm having here. Here you go, Colston. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. And this isn't even on some super hard difficulty too. So I'm not I'm just having fun. I'm not trying to win on mega hard difficulty. You know what I mean? So. Oh. All right, we're about to punch it in here. There it is. Bang. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, Jake Moody's graduated, so I've got a freshman kicker that I recruited. So yeah. Oh, look at the Fighting Brady Hoax. Look at the Fighting Brady Hoax pulling out that 1-point win. Attaboy. It's funny because in this game, Brady Hoax, the coach of Michigan. This game when it originally released, it's updated to Harbaugh being the head coach. But yeah, when the game first came out. Yeah, there you go. Will Johnson. Excuse me. If anyone has any questions, fire away. Can be about anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be about recruiting either. It can be about team. It could be about I think they got a freshman in there. Ooh. You can be asking about anything. Football, basketball, not even sports related. random questions. I don't care. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to chill since we didn't have a podcast this week. Oh no! Oh, look at Cody Jones getting in there. All right. Cody Jones. He should be pretty good soon too. At some point, Cody Jones. Got a feeling that he'll come on at some point. A lot of those guys. Cody Jones. Donovan. So, yeah, Cody Jones, all those guys. Keon Sabb, Miles Pollard, all those guys. Lions record this year, say 12-5. I think that's about right. I think that sounds pretty good. I would take that bet. 12 wins sounds pretty good. Clemens. Tutties. Touchdown. Darius Clemens. Thank you. Another guy who I think is going to be very good. I could have swore I thought he was going to play more this year, but again, he's got a whole year. I think he'll be very, very good at some point. Very, very good. But Lions, yeah, I think right now where things stand, the Lions are the best team in the North. I do think they're the best team in the division, and they should win it. I do think Goff is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. Minnesota is good, but I do think the Lions, and I really love the Lions draft. I know a lot of people kind of really were like, what the hell are these guys doing? But I really think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be really good. Laporta is going to be good. Campbell, I love Jack Campbell out of Iowa. I think they're going to be very, very good. So, yeah, 12 wins, I think, that sounds about right. I mean, Goff, I can understand why you're not a Goff fan. To your point, if I think you think Goff's holding the Lions back. If Goff can play like he did towards the end of the year, I think Lions are going to be a very dangerous team this year. I think the 24 class almost full. Can they get a head start in 25? Yes. I think that's an awesome part of why Michigan's doing a great job too, is that they can also put their resource. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Who the hell is he throwing to? All right. I think this is a computer generated freshman. Like, what the hell was he throwing to? That looked like Joe Milton, that one pick he had against Wisconsin in 2020. Holy hell, that was horrific. But anyway, back to 2025. Yes, I do think they can get a head start on 25. I do think that's, kind of the important thing too, is that they can add their resources to 25 and kind of get a head start there. Oh, first quarter's done already. Bobby Kanka. Bobby Kanka's in my neck of the woods. He plays high school ball about 10 minutes from me. So I'll probably be able to. I'll see him this fall at some point. But yeah, I think he's Michigan's to lose at this point. I don't know what his timeline is. But yeah, I think Mike Elston's done a really good job of recruiting him and building a relationship. Identified him very early. So I think Michigan will land him at some point. I don't know when, but yeah. I expect him to be part of the 25 class for sure. First and goal from the 5 and looking to cap this off with a touchdown. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I understand why people think that Milton. Oh boy. I don't know how to. Oh, I was pretending I didn't know what I was doing there. Just pretending. That looked like a very JJ-esque moment there. I didn't know I didn't know what the button is to throw the ball away. So I was just about to take the sack, but I saw Loveland, do what he does. So, yeah, I don't know. My opinion of Milton, if he can figure out how to create touch on his passes instead of just throwing, 90 miles an hour every pass, I think he could be a good quarterback. I mean, there's no denying his arm talent. I mean, the dude has one of the better arms I've seen in college football in a while, but there's a difference between having a really good arm and knowing how to use it and knowing how to, put touch on your passes. So we'll see. I mean, I think Tennessee, I think they've got a really good offensive system and they know how to develop offensive players. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he developed over the year, with Hooker being the guy. So we'll see. I'm not sold on him being like a first round draft pick guaranteed. Maybe, but we'll see. I'm not sold on him yet. I mean, oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, arm strength are overrated. Yeah, I do think it is. It's in some aspects it is. Brady is really good at ball placement, and I think that's important too. But again, you look at a guy like Pat Mahomes has a really strong arm and can throw from anywhere in any angle. I think that's also valuable too. But again, you got to learn how to. Oh Jesus! You got to learn how to control it. That's the thing. You can't just throw every ball 80 miles an hour on a rope. You're not playing baseball. This is football. So we'll see. He's an interesting guy for sure. I'm a monster and I use her defensive lineman. I know a lot of people like to use her linebackers or corners. I always use her defensive line. That's just what I've always been comfortable with. I'm always like, every time I try to use her a middle linebacker, he's just all over the place. So, man, we've been streaming for an hour. Doesn't feel like an hour. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate it. I'm having fun. I should need to do this more often. I'll get a better streaming setup eventually, but I'm having fun. I'm glad you guys are here. Great way to spend a Sunday evening. Again, always use defensive line against computer, safety against the human. Yeah, I could see that when you're playing against the safety. Yeah, because they always want to throw the ball deep. You can get an easy pick, but man, I'm sucking right now. Yeah, again, if anyone has any any questions, fire away. Who has the most sacks for Michigan this year? That's a great question. Give me Chris Jenkins. Oh, jeez. Give me Chris Jenkins. I feel really good about that. Chris Jenkins won. Josiah Stewart, a close second. I think he's going to have a really good year. I think he's a perfect fit for what Michigan wants to do. How are you feeling with Bryce Underwood? Oh, Derek Moore, Shadyville. That's a good pick, too. There's so many. That's the thing. There's so many options Michigan has. Like, you could say Braden McGregor could have double-digit sacks, and I believe you. Like, that's how good Michigan's defensive line group is right now. They have so many options. I think they do need to improve their pass rush. I think that was kind of one of their weaknesses last year. Closing, getting sacks, and that'll create more turnovers, which was another issue for Michigan last year too. I mean, at the end of the year, they did a really good job creating turnovers, especially interceptions. But that's got to be consistent all year. You can't just do that towards the end of the year. That's got to be a whole year thing. So yeah, McGregor did. He's going to have a good year. He's earned his opportunity. He's paid his dues for sure. He should have a really good year. How am I feeling on Bryce Underwood? I feel good. Don't feel great. I feel good. I think it's still a little too early for me to say Michigan is for sure number one. I think Michigan is obviously in the top 5 of some made-up top 5 that he has right now, and I think Michigan is closer to 1 than they are 5. Kurt Campbell deserves so much credit for what he's doing. He's done a really good job recruiting not only Bryce but the family. He will have that's a pick. Oh, LSU has a lot of, yeah, you're right. Shadyville, LSU has a lot of buzz right now. Michigan is right there. He might be at the barbecue at the end of the month. He isn't 100% sure. He has a tentative. Oh, I'm just running the same exact play. He has a tentative January 6th commitment date. Well, that was a terrible throw. Tentative January 6th commitment date. I think Michigan does have a good shot. We'll see. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say, Michigan will for sure land him, but man, they have a great day. They're doing a lot better than they were a few months ago. That's for sure. Would Underwood be the most important recruit of the Harbaugh era? Yeah. I mean, you don't see very many number 3 recruits walking through the door at Schembechler Hall in these past couple of recruiting classes. So yeah, I'd say definitely be one of the biggest ones. I would be really curious to see how he would fit in with Jaden Davis if that was the case. And again, I've talked to Bryce. He says he doesn't care about what depth charts look like. He's going to come in and he's going to want to compete. So that's exactly what you want to hear. He's not going to be scared off by having another guy in front of him. So that's huge. Really important. Oh, boy. Oh, that was bad. Yeah, where was I going on that one? Keegan let me down. Oh. Yes, please. Yeah, if Darius Clemens makes plays like that this year, oh my goodness, they're going to be good. That was sick. I didn't even mean to do that spin either. That was pure. That was pure, like just me hammering the controller. Shadyville, I heard Davis's dad called Underwood's dad to talk about that. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I mean, again, Gene Davis's dad is a smart dude. He gets it. You know, he's a good dude. Good dude. I've talked to him before. He's a very nice man. I appreciate his perspective a lot because everything he does is in the best interest of Davis or Jaden, excuse me. And I would not be surprised if that. I can't personally confirm that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. They understand that competition is important and you need it. So it doesn't. Oh, geez. So I would not be surprised if that happened. Not one bit. You know, you also know that they're for the team. You know, I mean, Davis's dad didn't have to do that. But, you know, that's, you know, you're for Michigan. So that's good. Oh my God, where are you throwing to? If anyone has any more questions, fire away. I think we'll go likely until the end of this game, and then I'll probably call it because I've already been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. It doesn't even feel like an hour, but I'm hungry. I gotta eat. Oh, not like that. Not like that. Yeah, you're right, Shadyville. I think when you land a guy like that, it also has ripple effects for people. They notice that kind of stuff. Like, hey, I want to play with this dude. It happens. Yeah, it absolutely. There is a ripple effect for that kind of thing. Elite guys want to play with elite guys. So, the more elite guys you have on your team, the more elite guys are going to follow. Over under 30. if if JJ throws for 30 touchdowns this year, I would eat my hat. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I think it's going to be under. I do. As much as Michigan wants to say they want to get the pass involved more, you can't deny what Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards could do. You're gonna come back to that Shadyville, yeah. Well, I mean, if JJ throws for 30 touchdowns this year, he's gonna smash every school record. And I think Michigan will win a national championship if he throws for 30 touchdowns. I mean, I think they could probably, have a good shot at national championship under 30. But if you're saying 32, oh boy, that's a good year. That's a good year. I just don't see them going. I just don't see him throwing for 30. That's a lot of passes in a game. But if he's also throwing a lot of passes, you could also make the argument that Michigan is behind a lot, or in positions where this quarterback sucks. I was already halftime. I wasn't even paying attention at the time. Yeah, if he throws for 30 touchdowns, boy, oh boy, it's a hell of a year. Who are the top targets for 2025 as of today? I posted a story on that of guys to know. Obviously, Bryce Underwood is one. Fahim Delane is another guy. Bobby Kanka, Justin Baker, Alex Graham. He is a guy that I think will end up in the class. He is a stud from Cass Tech. That kid's a stud. He's going to be good. He's trending as a safety. There's a kid from what is his name? I can't remember his name. Never mind. Forget I said that because I can't remember his name, and I don't want to talk about him because I can't remember his name. But there's another Detroit area prospect that they're in on. God, why the hell can I remember his name? That they'll probably end up in the class too. But yeah, I mean, there's I think it is a little early to say hey, who the top targets are, but obviously it starts and ends with Bryce Underwood in 25 for sure. I don't think that nothing else compares. If you're going to get blown out, you at least want to go down swinging. He's taken down right around the 36-yard line. The defenders are really going to have to get their heads into this game. That was a big play. If anyone has any questions, fire away. We've got a 1st and 10. Ball in 36. Be happy to answer him. Doesn't even have to be about Michigan or sports either. You can ask about anything. You don't necessarily ask basketball me. Oh, picked it. No, that was bad. Oh, I look like if Will Johnson looks like that this year, oh boy. That is not an all-American style play there. He got caught up on that turn. That was just bad. That was bad usering by me. Bad usering. Bad usering. Who will be CB2? I still think it'll be Amorion Walker to start the year. I don't know what it's going to look like towards the end of the year. You could have a guy that has like a Will Johnson type of projection where he just comes out of nowhere and you have to play him just because he's that good. Someone who could take a leap like that, maybe Jair Hill. Michigan loves him. Klink loves him. They think they think that him and Cam Calhoun are going to be like one of the better duos that they've had in a long time. But if I were to say, like who's CB2 right now, week 1, I would say Amorion Walker. That's probably a safe bet. I mean, who knows what happens after that? Whatever. Do it cover games also? Yes, we do. We will be at every game. McBurrow. Yeah, sorry, Shadyville. Yeah, McBurrows is also a good guess. He was looking really good before he got hurt, so that's also really solid. He'll play. He'll see the field for sure. Shadyville, yes. We'll be covering every game this year. I've got something in mind of what I want to do on game days that I'm going to do a trial run the first couple of weeks. I don't want to say it because I don't want anyone to steal my idea. But I'm really excited about it. It'll be cool. It'll be fun for you guys because we're going to have you guys involved too. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to talk about too much about it right now. When it comes close to the season, I will. But yes, I do. We do cover games. We will have someone at every single game, home and away. My worst experience covering a game. Let's see. I mean, probably after the punt, the dropped punt against Michigan State, that was probably the worst one. I had the story, all the content I needed to do after the game ready to go, was just about to hit send. And then that happened, and I had to delete all of my work and redo it. I mean, everyone did, fortunately, so it's not like we were the ones behind. But that was pretty insane. You had all the Michigan State fans up in the press box cheering because they let some fans in for some reason. Had everyone cheering and going nuts. All the coaches were going nuts because the coaches are in their box, like right next to where we sit. So, yeah, that sucked. That wasn't very fun. The last time I was at Notre Dame, 2000 and I think that was Brady Hoke's last year. They got blown out against Notre Dame, and they didn't have a seat for me. So I got sat right in the back row with all the Notre Dame fans. Tim Brown actually sat next to me during that game, and he was all yelling and stuff. That was interesting. I'm like, oh, cool. That's Tim Brown. That's cool, I guess, even though this game sucks. But, yeah, that wasn't fun. Yeah, Shadyville, if you ever see the highlight again, it'll be too soon. Yeah, that one. You analyze that highlight, and you see, like, so many areas of where they could have tackled and, stop that play. But, give him that one. This year will be interesting in East Lansing. That's for sure. Oh, setting up an option. I gotta remember how to do it. Oh yeah. Oh, I tripped over the guy that fell. Oh no. I tripped over the one guy that was laying there, and I ran right into a trip right over him. Stupid. How much worse will OSU's O-line be this year? I don't know. I don't really pay too much attention to what Ohio State does. Only when it's time to actually pay attention, like cover them during the season when it's getting close to the game. I do know that it's probably their weakest spot, which isn't good. It's not good at all. Who's been your favorite athlete to cover an interview? It's a good question. I'd have to think about that one. I'm thinking. Who would be my favorite athlete to cover? That's a really good question. I'm trying to think. Someone that comes to mind. I enjoy covering Chase Winovich. That dude is interesting. That's an interesting dude. Yabioki was a good interview. He was interesting. I don't think he's not my favorite, but he provided an interesting perspective. JJ's good. I like JJ. He's good to talk to. Favorite athlete, man. I can't think of anyone right now. No one really sticks out to like where I said, "Oh man, I'm really gonna miss this kid." And I'm not saying that they were like bad or anything, but like everyone has different personalities. There we go. That's better. Makari Page. Oh yeah, go baby, go. That's much better usering. That was what I tried to do with Will Johnson before I got burned earlier. What the hell happened? I don't know why I got a blue square come up. That's okay. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to deal with this blue square on my screen for some weird reason. We're just gonna have to deal with it. I don't know how to fix it. I hope that's not permanent. But I can't get out of I can't exit out of the game, so I'll lose my progress. So yeah, we'll just have to deal with it. Oh no. Oh, that was so dumb. That was dumb. See, I clammed up. That blue square of death. It just clammed me up. Thanks, Kirk. It's very valuable. Never throw the ball to the other team. In case you didn't know that. That's why he's getting paid the big bucks. Appreciate you all. He'll be starting tackles, be on offense. Give me Barnhart. Yeah, give me Barnhart and Ladarius Henderson. I always want to call him Ladarius Jefferson because Ladarius Jefferson used to be a running back at Michigan State, and I remember when he transferred to Western, he played. He scored a touchdown against Michigan, and he did the Paul Bunyan pose when he scored a touchdown. It's like okay, cool guy. You don't play for Michigan State anymore. It was so stupid. But yeah, Ladarius Henderson and Carson Barnhart are my guesses for tackles. Ran into Mullings the other day. Yeah, Kalel's he's a good dude. I like him a lot. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Man, this quarterback is, I don't know what's up with him. He's rattled. Yeah, I can't tell. I don't know if he's a real dude or not, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, sorry for the blue screen. I don't know what the hell's going on. It hasn't done that before, of course. Oh, jeez. ESPN has OSU with a 71% chance to beat Michigan this year. Yeah, they said that last year and the year before too, didn't they? I mean, they'll always fall back on the talent argument. Like that Ohio State has more talent. You know, they'll go recruiting rankings that Michigan has or Ohio State has more quality recruits. Whatever. That hasn't done a lot of good for them the past 2 years, has it? Michigan's beat them bad twice. You know. So again, I think there's always going to be disrespect. There's always going to be disrespect for Michigan in that regard. But I mean, disrespect has fueled this team for. I sound like I'm Michigan State. The chip on the shoulder thing is what there is, but it works. I don't blame it. It works. So yeah, it is what it is. I'll be curious to see what that percentage looks like once November rolls around, if that changes at all. I think it will. I think it'll drop. I'm curious what that percentage is for Penn State. How does Michigan favor against Penn State? Like, what's the percentage there? Because I'd be interested to see that, because obviously they're gonna be at Happy Valley this year, but it's a noon game, so that kind of like equals it out a little bit. Oh yeah, Cody Jones, see ya, or not, shoelace, but anyway, this quarterback is stinky.
Another interception. You look at this offense and they're making mistakes, but how about the effort and the tenacity from this defense? Even with the big lead, they're not giving up. I think they want to continue to blow this team.
Man, there's still 19 of you in this guy. Still 19 of you that are watching. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. You didn't have to. This was last minute thing, but I'd be happy to do this again. Again, I'll fix my streaming setup at some point, but I'm happy with this. Penn State could be scary good this year. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm not sold on James Franklin being an elite coach. I think he's a good coach, not great. I mean, we say that about Penn State every year. Like, oh, Penn State could be really good this year. And then they just are just average. I think they have, two really good running backs. Drew Aller is probably their best quarterback that Franklin's had. I think he's better than Trace McSorley. So, they could be good. We thought they were going to be good against Michigan last year, and then Michigan knocked the doors off them. So, we'll see. The away atmosphere is not going to be easy, even though it's a noon game. So it should be a good game. And, the Penn State will want revenge for the last 2 years, especially last year with the whole peanut butter and jelly throwing thing and Harbaugh talking smack after the game, or not after the game, the Monday after the game, telling Franklin to stop whining. Oh, the good old tunnel argument. Man, that thing really devolved after it started with Penn State, and then it just went down south. It just went downhill after that. Unreal. All right, I'm gonna run this clock out. No, a blue screen went away. That's cool. I didn't even notice. Oh, that'll do it. Michigan gets the dub 35-10 over Wisconsin. That's a good win. See, John, if you're still here, I didn't lose. Dedicate that win to you. I didn't embarrass myself and lose.
3rd Street. This is Brad Nessler saying thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Just gonna save and close this up, and I'll hang out. Hour and a half. I'll hang out a little longer. There's still people here. I'll hang out. Again, if anyone has any questions, happy to answer them. I'll be here for a little bit longer. Put that back. All right. I'll bring you back around here. All right. We're back. Okay. All right. Excuse me for 1 second here. I'm going to have to scroll away from the window here because I have to check our message boards. If you're not a subscriber, please join us over at the Maize and Blue Review, michigan.rivals.com/sign up. The link will be in the chat. Putting that in right now. We'd love to have you. I think our community, what makes us special and what makes us unique. It's a very family-friendly atmosphere. You know, feels like we are a true family. We'd love to have you. You can, I'm always available. I'm always around on the message boards. Always there. Always happy to answer your questions. Oh God, always the doomsday people. So how about Hunter Dickinson calling Michigan a fake Midwest? What do you think guys think about that? I don't know why he would. I mean, he was asked in the podcast what he, compared to, comparing Lawrence, Kansas to Ann Arbor and how that compares. And he said that Lawrence is nice, but Michigan is the people in Michigan are not as nice. And Michigan is a fake Midwest. I'll read the comment for you. I'll read his comment. And I want to misrepresent his quote. So he said, he asked, he was asked between, what's the differences between Ann Arbor and Kansas or Lawrence. And he said, I'd say it's pretty similar to Ann Arbor in a sense. Ann Arbor is probably a little bit bigger population-wise. In terms of the city and downtown, it kind of reminded me of not a normal city. It gave you that feel. Being from D.C., it's not the same. It's a little more laid back. I like it here. I like the slow pace, kind of a laid back feel. Just walking around, the people are super, super welcoming, super nice. Definitely get those Midwest vibes. I think Michigan, they weren't as nice. Like, they were nice people, but not as nice. I feel like Michigan's like a fake Midwest. Kansas is actually a Midwest town, but I love my time in Michigan, but the people here at Kansas are especially nice. I don't know if he really needed to say, bring up I don't know. Hunter is a wrestling heel. That's who he is. That's who he's been. He's not afraid to speak his mind and rile up people. I just think, I don't know, talking about Michigan on the way out the door is kind of, whatever. He has his rights to do that. So, it is what it is. But he, probably pissed off a few people by saying that. So, not the smartest thing to say. Again, if anyone, excuse me, has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I'll be here for a little bit longer. I gotta get some food here eventually. I'm hungry. I'm not gonna eat on the stream though. I wouldn't subject you all to that torture. Hey Armand, besides Scott, are there any targets for CB this cycle? We discussed that a little bit earlier, and my answer, the short answer was, I'm not sure yet. I think Michigan's in a position right now where they can kind of wait and see if there's anyone that pops up on their radar. Fortunately, Michigan's in July, so they've got some time to evaluate and see if they can find any guys that fit. And I think that board will be, I don't know how expanded, but I think it'll be expanded a little more once, when Scott commits to Ohio State. So, yeah, we'll see. I can't give you a full answer right now, but I do believe that it'll be expanded at some point. And I'm sure there's some guy that we aren't talking about right now. Someone that's not even on Michigan's radar that'll pop up and they can fill their spot. I'm not really worried about whether they will fill it. They'll fill it. I guess it just depends on who and how they'll fill it. And again, maybe they go transfer portal too. Maybe they say, maybe there's no one out there that they like, and they say, hey, this guy's a perfect fit. Out of the portal, he's got 2 years, perfect, just perfect. We'll see. Again, a lot of these too, a lot of with these, like whether nose tackle, corner. The thing is that Michigan, with Michigan becoming effective in the portal, that kind of changes a lot of the recruitment process too. Because if you don't, if you're not effective, if you're not recruiting as well in one position, like let's say, like last year, linebacker was a big hole during the season. They addressed linebacker in the portal, and now they're looking great. So I guess it just all kind of depends, what happens. We'll see. Maybe they add another guy later on, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the cornerback board right now. We'll see what happens. But Armand, I nailed the name pronunciation. Thank you very much. I'm surprised people. I could see how people could screw that up. I don't know. I can see how people could screw it up, though. I've had some, just even with my last name, I've had some fun pronunciations with my last name too, so I could totally get it. Is Underwood eligible for reclassification? I don't know, and I don't think he's going to reclass. Again, if he were to reclass, I don't think Michigan would recruit him. They've been strong in saying Davis is our only quarterback we're taking in this class, and yeah, I don't think he'll reclass. He'll stick with 25. And I'm not sure. I'd have to look and check Michigan's. I don't know if they even allow them to reclass. I'm not sure how that works, to be honest. I'd have to do some research, but I don't believe he's eligible for a reclass. Keep those questions coming if you got them. I've still got time. No question is a dumb question. Don't be afraid to ask. It's what I'm here for. And again, I'll be on the message boards over at the Maize and Blue Review 24/7 feels like no, but I'm always happy to answer questions, whether it's on the message boards, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's, wherever. I'm always happy to answer questions, but we'd love to have you over at on the Maize and Blue Review, michigan.rivals.com/sign up. We'd love to have you. We're a growing community, just like this YouTube channel is. I'm really happy and appreciative for everyone who's subscribed, everyone who consistently watches and comments, whether it's my show, Dennis's show, Trevor and I's podcast, which we hope to do one maybe this coming week. Not sure. I mean, there's really, recruiting content's kind of slow. We're in a dead period right now. So not a whole lot going on. And obviously you got, Jacob Smith to talk about his addition. But yeah, hopefully we can do a podcast this week. If not, next weekend for sure. That'll be we need to do one if kind of behind on that. But again, really appreciative of everyone who stops by, with your generous donations to the site. They all, goes back into the site. So I really appreciate it. Just trying to make this thing into my vision. Just trying to grow. We're getting there. I've only been around for a year and a half, so I'm really happy with the progress and growth that we've had. Really pleased. So thank you again. I couldn't do it without you all. Every comment, every like, every share, every subscribe button you hit, it means the world to me and to us, to Dennis, to everyone. Dennis, to see the growth in Dennis's show, that dude works hard, and I really love seeing how much his show has grown. It's very cool to see. Very cool. Are there any buzz for any of the young safeties? Not that I really take stock into right now because they're in shirts and shorts. I think if you pay attention to my podcast or our podcast, I think what my feelings are of analyzing people in shirt and shorts, but I'm not a fan of it. But ask me again the first week of August, and I'll have a much better idea. Michigan's fall camp starts August 1st, so I hope to have a few camp notes posted over on our message boards at michigan.rivals.com, and I'll share obviously what I can through this medium as well. So, but yeah, I'm not nothing right now that would really make me want to come here and say, oh, this guy's going to have a monster year. Wait and see what happens once the pads are on and, you're playing some, 11-on-11 stuff. So Barry and Sab, though, both those guys, Barry looked really good during the spring game. There should be, he's an interesting one. Those two are interesting guys. You could see, something there for sure. A lot of interesting young guys on this team. And if a lot of them step up, you're going to look at a really good Michigan defense, not just this year, but into the future too. That bodes really well because there's going to be some turnover here eventually, especially on offense. I mean, they're going to lose a bunch of guys after this year. So, and next year's schedule is, pretty daunting. So, getting as many young guys in as possible and getting them experienced, it'll be really interesting. Who are the leaders for the return position? That's a good question. I think Roman Wilson is probably a good one for punts. Cam Calhoun maybe for kicks and punts. I'd have to look. I'd have to check. I'm not really. I know Roman Wilson can certainly handle punt return duties. I mean, you can technically throw in Donovan Edwards too, but I don't know if they'd want to put him in a kick and punt return. So maybe kick return, but yeah, Roman Wilson probably for punts, but we'll see. I'll get a better look again once fall rolls around. or excuse me, August rolls around. August 1st, it's when camp starts. I'll probably have a better idea. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely, I mean, Michigan, I can't remember the last dynamic returner they had outside of, well, Steve Bresson is kind of like a misnomer because he was elite, an elite returner. And, you know, you don't produce elite returners like that every year. But I think he's probably like the last dynamic returner that they've had. I mean, Peoples Jones was good. Yeah, probably Breston is probably there. I mean, if they can get an elite returner like that, it totally changes the dynamic of things on special teams for sure. Jay Harbaugh's an elite special teams coach. Peppers, yeah, yeah. I don't put Peppers on the same level as Breston. I think Peppers was good. I think he was good. He had, yeah, I would probably maybe. I think Peppers would probably be the next one outside of um outside of Breston. Peppers had a couple of good returns. He was electric at some point. I think that's a good shout. Yeah, I would take that. I would say the Peppers too. Yeah, that's a good one. It's definitely a good one. Sorry, just checking my Twitter feed here. Good old Twitter. Just in case I miss anything. Yeah, you're right. That's also an important part too, Shadyville. That is important part about returning too. You know, you don't want to A, give up yards, and B, you know, drop a ball and save your field position. I think that's having a reliable guy like that. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's kind of an underrated part of it too, especially from Peppers. I mean, he may not have had the touchdowns that some people hoped he would have, but the fact that he always managed to put Michigan in good positive situations in the punt return game is important. It really is a big special teams is huge. And you know, people kind of some people kind of want to see like big offensive plays and defensive stops and stuff like that, but an efficient special teams is so underrated. I mean, we saw it with Michigan, you know, with Jake Moody. Um, you know, I think yeah, having an efficient, you know, kick game, punt game is extremely underrated. And I think yeah, I mean, Jake Moody's won Michigan a couple of games. So, and I think James Turner from Louisville is probably going to be the starting kicker this year. I think he's good. I mean, I don't think he's automatic like Moody was or is, but I think, you know, going from Moody to James Turner, I think Michigan could do a lot worse. And that's not anything against Turner. I'm just saying that, um, you know, Turner walking into Moody's shoes is probably not the best thing for Turner, but he's still good in his own right. He's just not Moody good, but that's okay. You know, because not everyone is. Not everyone is Moody good. So P. Maximus, our best returner was Steve Bresson. Yep, 100%. I agree. But again, I mean, Peppers, or excuse me, Breston. I mean, that's elite level stuff. I mean, that's the type of guy, returner wise, that doesn't come around very often. And you've seen it, you know, nothing really nothing is truly compared, to him since he left. I mean, there's a couple of guys that have made some good plays, but I mean, every time Bresson would go back to receive a punt, I mean, he was basically flipping the field at that point. He was so good, just so fast. Really good stuff from him. Sorry, just trying to check my messages. All right, I'll go another 10 minutes. If anyone has anything. Is Michigan going 28-12-0? Yeah. I don't see why not. I do not see why not. They've got all the tools. This team, especially on offense, they got all the tools to make this a 12-0 team. I mean, if last year's team was a 12-0 team, I think this year's team is a 12-0 team. Absolutely. Absolutely. Really interested to see how this kind of impacts everything. The last year of the 4-team college football playoff format until it expands next year. Really curious to see how Michigan will factor in. I mean, if you're talking about a 12-team playoff, I mean, Michigan at this point should be a perennial playoff team. I mean, they should be there every year. And then you can make the argument, should they win? So I tried to join. Oops, sorry about that. It wouldn't accept your card. Hey, John. I'm trying to think here. Send me an email. I'm including my email address in the chat here. Send me an email, and we'll get you figured out. You can also try. It also accepts PayPal if you try to join the site. It also does PayPal. But I've included my email in the comments here. Shoot me an email. Let me know what it's saying, and we'll get you figured out. Because it shouldn't be doing that. And I know a lot of John's messages are coming in late, so I'm not sure how current that message is. But John, if you're still here, shoot me an email and we'll get you signed up on the site for sure. And thank you too. Thank you for subscribing. That means a lot to me and for the rest of my staff. I truly appreciate that. And I always say to those who are on the fence about subscribing to us, I'm always on the fence. I'm always on the fence. If you're on the fence, I always say, all we need to do is get you in the door. That's it. Because once we get you in the door, we will earn your stay. I think we're super active on the community, in the boards. We're always answering questions. We're always providing information. We're always providing content, even beyond what we do here. I mean, this is like, I'm always on the boards. I'm always, answering questions and available. And I think that's the most important part, is to make yourself available, make yourself present and approachable, because I wouldn't be in this position. I wouldn't be doing what I love as a career without all of you. And that's simple enough. You are the reason we are here, and why would I ignore that? or why would I downplay that? That's not a smart business model. So I'm always happy and answer questions, and that's kind of my thing. Like, when you join us, we're going to earn your stay. We're not just going to take your money and say, hey, thanks, see ya. No, we're going to earn your stay. And that's kind of the big thing that we talk about, because our community is number one. You are the reason we are here. You are our lifeblood of this thing. You make this work. So when I say, like, please subscribe, we'll earn your stay. Our community is just the best community. We truly mean that. You guys are awesome. And even here, even this community that we're building is awesome. And we'd love to have this community and our message board community. We would like to marry them and have it work both ways. So, we'd love, if you're watching this, we'd love to have you over on the Maize and Blue Review on at Rivals. Again, michigan.rivals.com/sign up. Love to have you. Again, when we get your foot in the door, we will earn your stay. And that's my personal guarantee. We love what we do. We're passionate about what we do. And, we're passionate about bringing the most up-to-date information that we possibly can to all of you, because you're here for a reason and you deserve it. You all deserve, all of that stuff. So I just got an email. I watched Michigan Day on Big Ten Network. I miss them because I mean, the Michigan's wide receiver. I mean, it's crazy to think that they haven't had like an offensive playmaker selected in the first round since Braylon Edwards. That is kind of crazy. I mean, they haven't had bad receivers. I mean, Amara Darbo was good. J.U. Chesson was good. That's tough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and again, and P. Maximus again. We had a run of starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, Michigan had that run in the '90s or the '90s and 2000s was, really good. A lot of pros. They had some NFL Hall of Famers in there too. I don't know if Michigan has any NFL Hall of Famers right now. I mean, time will tell, but yeah, I mean, they have good players. They're just not NFL good. And, Michigan has kind of been fine with the good enough players for college level. But, I think getting those NFL caliber type of guys really kind of changes the team a lot. And again, that goes back to recruiting. If they continue to recruit at a high level and kind of take that next step, then the program takes the next step. And, really all that's left right now for Michigan in terms of taking a next step is competing for national championships. I mean, competing for semifinals is no longer good enough because they're at that level now. Now the next step is to win a semifinal and win that and go to the national championship game and win that. And that means you got to beat the Georgias of the world right now. So we'll see. That's the legitimate next step. So my cat going nuts. Who do I think is NFL ready on defense? That's a good question. I think Chris Jenkins is. Will Johnson for sure is. Junior Colson might. I think he could be. Those three are immediately what jump to mind right now. Chris Jenkins and Will Johnson are the two big ones. I mean, I think Will Johnson more than Jenkins. His potential is through the roof. I mean, if he continues to play like he did towards the end of the year, I mean, you're talking about first round draft pick for sure. I'm trying to think of someone that I'm not thinking about right now. Mason Graham. That's it. Yeah, Mason Graham, I think, is NFL ready. Or will be NFL ready if he's not. I mean, he's still sophomore, so as is Will Johnson, but a couple more years of development for both of those guys. And yeah, you're talking about NFL ready guys. That was my chair. I promised you that was my chair. I can't recreate the noise. Oh no. I promise you that was my chair. See, I'm trying to now it just makes me now it just look like I'm trying to do that. Anyway. Yeah, I've got time's 8:00. Wow, it's streaming for 2 hours. It's wow, it's pretty good. I didn't think I was gonna go 2 hours. But yeah. I think I'm gonna call it. I need to go get some food. I'm starving. But anyway, no one cares about that. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that watched today. Again, this is just a chill hangout stream. I'd love to do more of these. Maybe get NCAA more involved too. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, again, if anytime anyone has any questions, michigan.rivals.com/sign up. That's the place to go to get your questions answered. We'll be there. We'll be here when we can. Dennis, 3 days a week right now. When am I not? Yeah, when am we on next? Dennis, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Trevor and I hope to do a podcast. Hopefully this week. Maybe if not this week, then probably Sunday at 6 again. Maybe I'll do another hangout stream this week. It just kind of depends. Excuse me. It just kind of depends on. Man, this beer make me burp. It kind of depends on my what's going on with my schedule. But I think I should be open here to do another one towards the evening. But yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. But again, yeah, michigan.rivals.com/sign up. If you ever, that's where we hang out when we're not here. So we'll plan on doing this again sometime soon. Again, thank you. Appreciate all of you for hanging out. I had a ton of fun. A lot of good questions were asked. This stream will be available for replay if you ever felt the need to watch me play video games. But yeah, I'll definitely. This is something I'll work on having a better streaming setup here in the future. But this is kind of just a trial run for me to hang out. So yeah, we'll definitely do this again. But again, before I ramble on too long, thank you. Appreciate all of you for watching. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate all the likes, the subscribes, your subscriptions, even the subscriptions on our website. Greatly appreciate it. The growth that we've had on this channel has been huge, and I'm so appreciative of everything that you guys do for us. For me, this is, to be able to call this my career and do this for a living, I couldn't. It's a dream. I'm living the dream every day of my life, and I could not be happier that I'm doing this. So, again, thank you. I don't know when I'll be back. Maybe sometime this week we'll do another hangout stream. I think we'll do more hangout streams once the season starts. We'll have more to talk about then, but we'll figure something out. We'll figure out a good schedule. But yeah, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Find me on Twitter at Josh Henschke. It says there. Find me on Twitter there. Michigan.rivals.com/sign up. I'll be there on the message boards inside the den. And everyone have a good night. And again, thank you for coming out. And we'll see you all soon. Dennis should be on tomorrow, I believe. And let's have a good week. Thanks again, everyone. And I appreciate your time. And we'll talk soon.